Hi YouTube, welcome back to another vlog. Today is a training day, so I'm going to be taking you through my full body pull session 1, which is a heavy deadlift day. Currently it is 6:25 in the morning. Currently prepping my first 3 meals of the day. So my usual morning meal, which is 2 eggs, bagels, and a bit of ketchup, and a bit of salad today. So I managed to do a food shop, which is great. So I'll quickly show you what these meals look like. So we've got the bagels here. I'm also going to be having my malt loaf, as I need to get the extra carbs in today. I've got also my cream of rice with the protein sludge. Now with the protein sludge, if you're making this, all you need to do is a small bit of water every couple of seconds and keep stirring it into the protein powder, and eventually it will go into a runny pasting texture and you can pour it over. Obviously the more water you put in, the more runny the paste will be, the thicker it will be. I prefer it kind of in between, because if it's too runny, you may as well just have a protein shake, and if it's too thick, then you may as well just not really have it at all, because it doesn't spread around the cream of rice. And then we've also got post-workout cereal with a protein shake with almond milk on to pour over the top of it. So I'm gonna quickly eat my bagels and then I'll get cracking with the rest of my morning routine. Jesus, it's another Baltic one today. But one thing you might have noticed from my morning routine from the past previous vlogs, it stays exactly the same every single day. Wake up about 5:30, 5:45, make my first couple of meals for the day, do my teeth, do my beard, and get cracking. There's literally no point in faffing around with all this new morning routine stuff of having an ice bath or an ice shower. I value my nipples. I don't want them to turn into fucking ice gems. And also, if you get out early enough, if you run outside naked, it's going to be cold anyway, so you're better off just doing that. But yeah, it just adds an extra, 10, 15 minutes onto a day just having an ice bath. Just have your breakfast or coffee or water, whatever in the morning, do your tea, have a shower, whatever, and then get cracking with the day, and you'll find you're way more efficient with your day. Whew. So that was a great session with Adrian this morning. Adrian's been with me a whole year, believe it or not, which is amazing. His goal was to lose weight. We've lost weight, and we're going to continually do so until he's got to a point where he's like really happy with how he's looking and how he's feeling. He's super strong in the gym. Pushing 12.5 kilo dumbbells over the head is insane for 3 sets of 12. So next week we're going to try the big 15s, which he's a little bit worried about, but that's what I'm here for, to help him coach through it. And yeah, so obviously we're pushing his activity levels outside of the gym, and obviously work on his nutrition, which has always been a big struggle for him, as he's always struggling with a bit of his snacking and stuff like that. So that's something we're really working on at the moment, is that sort of stuff. Tucking into meal 2, which is my pre-workout meal, cream of rice. As you know, every single day I have the same meals pretty much. Still sticking with the pink Himalayan salt before sessions, as last session it worked really, really well. So I'm glad I've kind of reintroduced this into my meals, as it definitely helps me get a bigger pump. Today's session is full body pull 1 session, which is my deadlift day. So going to be pulling 122.5 kilos for 6 to 8 reps 3 times. And then if I do well on that, the second set, I'm probably going to maybe try 125, as I'm definitely at my all-time strength at the moment. So timing these meals are really important for me to be able to push a lot more weight in the gym and really maximize this growth phase as I'm going into prep in sort of 2026, ready for my first bodybuilding shows, or season, I guess, if you like to call it. Fueling up with the blue Absolute Zero Monster, which is one of the ones I used to drink when I skated a lot of the time. I remember when they first came out and I went to have one of these. So I used to drink the Rippers all the time, the original Rippers, which don't make as good as anymore. And this was like really good flavor back then. So this one is probably like near enough top dog compared to, or joined with the green Absolute Zero Monster. That's still my favorite flavor, even if it does taste like petrol. But yeah, so I'm gonna tuck into this, I've got probably get my hair cut, and then I'm gonna hit the gym around 10 o'clock, and I'll take you through the whole session. Again, if it's busy, I'm probably gonna voice over. If it's not, I'll try and get a couple of clips of me chatting in the gym. Fix up, look sharp. Not that you can notice any difference, but haircut is done. I always ask for a skin fade, but he's like, nah, fuck it, you're going skin, mate. But one thing I noticed about being bald is I get my haircut like nearly done every 2 weeks, because I hate looking like a granddad. But also, it makes me way more aerodynamic in my deadlifts. So 100% recommend going bald if you want more PBs in gym, because it makes you move the weight a lot quicker. Here we go then, starting off the session with an incline ab mat crunch. This is probably one of the hardest exercises that you can do for abs, and something I really used to believe when I did ab training in the past was that if you do like a leg raise, you're working the lower abs. If you're doing a crunch, you're working the upper abs. This is not the case. Your abs don't have a joint in the middle of them. Although you will feel it in a little bit more lower down, because you are bringing the lower half upwards, you're not targeting the lower abs, you're targeting it all. With the trick with this exercise, to make sure you don't let your knees go past 90 at the bottom, otherwise your hip flexors will take over and you're going to use momentum. And also make sure you forcefully exhale on the way up, as this is going to mean you're going to get a much deeper and harder contraction out of your abs during this exercise. I've currently changed the setup of this as well. I've increased the incline of the bench to take a little bit more weight off my knees rather than having it a little bit flatter. Moving into an absolute bread and butter movement for any pull day, an RDL. Now I use the plates here to keep the tension in my hamstrings and keep myself in my active range of motion. Even if I control it without the plates being at the bottom, the weight will still send me into my passive range. Okay, so this is where my lower back is going to start arching and move it away from my hamstrings. Really trying to make sure I pause at the plates to extenuate more of a stretch in the hamstrings. And also something I'm really guilty of during my RDLs is as soon as my upper back goes, I think my lower back's gone. So I'll stop the set. So I'm really trying to push past it. As you'll see on these final couple of reps here, my upper back's starting to round, which is absolutely fine. Normally I would stop, but I'm pushing past it, making sure I'm maximizing training to failure. Up next is the upper back chest supported row. I absolutely hate this machine as the chest support is in the shape of a penis and it really hurts your sternum. But as I get heavier at this exercise, it's going to be much harder for me to get the traction out of my shoulder blades. So it's just a case of really getting those elbows past your torso, which is what I'm trying to do here. As I do start to struggle with this, I'll probably move into doing more top sets and back off sets. But for now, I'm sticking with my 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. And obviously, as you start reaching failure, it's okay if your chest to leave that chest pad a little bit so you can finish the set. Another one of my favorite lat movements is the single arm lat pull down. Now, I use this setup because it has 2 hooks. I'm using the opposite hook to the arm that I'm working to get a little bit more of a diagonal arm path, as the lats do wrap around the rib cage. So this is going to help me get a little bit more stretch at the top. One thing I used to do with this is keep my chest nice and high, which tends to make the exercise more of an upper back movement. So keep your chest in a much neutral position helps to keep the lats nice and long so you can get that deep stretch at the top as you drive your shoulder down. Obviously, as you reach failure, use the other hand to self-assist yourself to finish off that set. It's time to tax the rear delt to the rear cable fly. Now, the trick with this movement is to make sure you're pulling your elbows or drawing your elbows out to the corners of the room. If you think about retracting your shoulder blades and just throwing your wrist, it will just become more of an upper back movement. So just keep your arms in a slight bent position and draw your elbows out to the corners of the room. As this exercise is quite heavy for the moment, on the last set, I'm not actually hitting the rep range. So what I'll do is I'll finish off with some partial reps just so I can hit failure a lot better rather than just trying to throw the weight around and ruin the technique and lose form with this exercise. And the final exercise of the session, a dumbbell hammer curl. Now, I'm keeping my core tight throughout this to make sure I'm not swinging it, but it is also okay to swing it on the last couple of reps. Doing a top and back off set on this exercise. So I'm doing an 8 to 10 on the first set and a 10 to 15 on the last set. Really thinking about trying to squeeze my biceps from the very start of the movement all the way throughout because it will make the exercise a lot harder. Never really curled above sort of 14 kilos, especially on the first set. So that's 18. That's really good for me. And then this set is 14 kilos. Really testing my grip strength. And I've got like puny forearms. So this really does test it. But it's a good thing to have in as obviously grip is always going to be that weakest link in any sort of gripping based stuff. So to put it a little bit more exposed is also always a good thing. That was a very tough session. Not because of the exercises or like fueling myself before the session, because I had to rush through it because of me being stupid and going for a haircut right before the session. I'm now running late for my team content filming day by like a couple of minutes. So I had to rush through. So everything felt way harder than it needed to be. So some of the exercises I might have had to do 2 minutes rest rather than 3 minutes. So I wasn't properly fresh, ready for that next set. However, I didn't drop a single rep, which is great. So obviously, because I had to cut the session short as well, it meant I couldn't do my abduction and also my incline cable bicep curls. So what I'm going to do to make sure I get them done this week is to tag them in on the end of my quad day so I can definitely get those done. It's going to be a different gym. Like I mentioned in the last vlog, I'm going to be trying out a new gym. Hopefully it'll be the solution to my problems of having a busy gym at these hours. And so because of that, the cable ratios are going to be slightly different. And weirdly, I don't know, like if you feel like this as well, like when you go to a gym, let's say it's the same gym, it's a commercial gym, for example, and you pick up a 12 kilo that you would normally do at your own gym, it just feels way harder. So I've been to like a couple of other pure gyms before and done like an incline chest press, like machine chest press, and put the same weight on, the same routine, fed myself at exactly the same times, done the set, and it just felt like 3 times harder than it needed to be, and I dropped reps. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't kind of feel like that. It will be different kit, so it'll be quite exciting. I'm also taking one of my clients with me who's never been in another gym other than the gym that he trains at with me. So that's going to be super exciting to see his reaction to seeing, you know, a lot more different kit than what we've got in our little studio. But yeah, it's going to be super, super good. I'm really, really excited. So the plan now is to get into my staff or team content filming, have my post-workout, which is a little bit later than expected, a bit of admin work, and then some evening clients this evening. After you train is getting a bonus of carbs in because you're breaking down your energy during the sessions. that's filming wrapped up. I think we've got about 10, 12 videos filmed, all before the manager goes away to Thailand, which I'm super jealous about. Somewhere I've always wanted to go. I think everyone's going at the moment. Like I know about 3 people over there at the moment. But obviously if you watch the first vlog, my plan is to move to Australia one day, hopefully in the next sort of 3 to 5 years. But I want to do a holiday there first. So hopefully I'm thinking about doing Thailand as a stopover first, then Australia, and then Bali on the way back, because that's like on the top of my list is Bali and Australia. So I'd rather go to those 2 places for the longest amount of time. So do a stopover in Thailand for a couple of days and then go to the other 2. But obviously during the videos, we're talking a lot about exercises and stuff. So as we're trying to grow our gym page, which is growing quite well at the moment, 12 subscribers in a week, which is, or in a couple of weeks, which is really, really good. Because obviously we're a personal training studio, we don't get the marketing stream like commercial gyms would, where you just have people coming in and out. It's very much kind of self-promotion. So we're really trying to double down on our efforts with growing the gym page, which is going really well. So, but yeah, going into the exercise and stuff, we just talked about like deadlifting, leg presses, cable presses, all the sort of common exercises that most people get wrong in the gym, so that you guys can avoid injury and maximize your progress in the gym. So make sure you check out Lemon Frog Gym on Instagram and give us a follow. And then obviously make sure you implement the tips from the videos to maximize your training in the gym. So into my post-workout now, which is going to be, like always, Cocoa Pops, but as I'm having a curry later, which was quite high in calories yesterday when I totaled it up, I'm going to be doing less amount of cereal with my fluffy marshmallow protein powder as always, with some almond milk. So going to have this, then I'm going to have a little bit of admin to do for like clients and check in with all my clients for the middle of the week, and then get ready for my evening clients before I head home for the day. So even though I got a haircut earlier and I've had this beard for a while now, I still haven't bloody mastered how to fucking eat with one. Like I swear to God, every time I was taking a spoonful of my cereal a minute ago, it was literally not even entering my mouth. It was just getting fed into my beard for snacks that I can then save for later on. Now that is what I call the last meal of the day. Got curry with some rice, as you can see here. I will also have some salad if I just couldn't be asked to cook. Couldn't be asked to boil the kettle for some mixed veg because I'm a lazy bastard today. But evening clients absolutely smashed it as always. Georgina hit a rep progression on the same weight on the leg curl, which is awesome. She's popping her hips up slightly, but we're gonna work on a little bit more lat contraction to pull her down into that leg curl so that she can lock her hips down in place much more. And James was doing a really good lat pull down, working on his a little bit more elevation of his shoulder so he can get a little bit more lat activation, because obviously we're elongating the lat by raising that shoulder up slightly, taking the shoulders through their full range of motion. So he's gonna be working on that same weight for the next couple of weeks before we take any more progressions on that. And I finished off with a client who is an online client, but he's just started the gym, which is why we didn't film any of the session, as he's feeling a little bit unconfident with entering the gym. But we had an absolute blast of a session. He came away with knowing a lot more, so that when he goes into his next session in his other gym, he feels way more confident in his ability to be able to progress his training, while obviously having expert help from myself. If you enjoyed today's vlog, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you want to watch next.